Welcome back to Did You Ever Know? A lot of us need some times alone from others and from everyday problems to rearrange our thoughts, as well as feel relaxed from the fast and exhausting rhythm of life. The experiment that we will present today is bound to make you feel frustrated and disappointed. It is very strange that if a person is placed in an empty white room for 72 hours, he or she will go crazy. It is the opposite of what a person needs every second that passes through him, except through informations or sounds that he hears, pictures, and other things that make the mind perform the functions of thinking and analysis. Unlike isolation in the white rooms, as it makes the brain with the passage of time does not feel anything, only sensory absence, and this was a method of torture for prisoners in some prisons in the old days. Dr. Michael Stevens did a real-life experiment on one of the volunteers. The experiment started in the reception room, where the volunteer sat down with two of the reception staff, and in front of them, on the counter, was a box equipped with a red button that produces an electric current when someone presses on it. The reception staff were trying to convince the volunteer by pressing the button. He did not know what harm he will get from this red button until they were able to convince him to press this button. After a while, the volunteer was invited to go to one of the empty white rooms, and the volunteer was required to sit for 1 hour in this room. And it seemed that it was very easy. And it is strange that the room had the same box equipped with the red button that the volunteer pressed on in the reception room. It was easy at first, but after several minutes had passed, the volunteer decided to press the red button, which would be shocked by electricity, because his mind preferred pain to complete absence of any feelings. But until now, the experiment has not ended. Dr. Michael decided to isolate the volunteer for 72 hours in the white room, in addition to removing any other color. All items were white. Everything was white, including the bed, the toilet, the food, and water. The first problem that the volunteer faced was a loss of feeling in time. After 4 hours had passed, he felt that the time had reached 72 hours and asked to leave the room. But he had to continue with the experiment. The volunteer began to do every activity that could occur to a person's mind, so he did push-ups and a lot of other exercises. His memories returned and he was thinking about his past and everything he did during his life. But only 5 hours after the specified time for the experiment, the volunteer decided to withdraw from the experiment because he felt terrible pressure as well as hallucinations, seeing things in the room and being to sweat instantly. He was very upset. The volunteer decided to withdraw from the experience, and as soon as the door was opened and he heard voices behind him and other things and people, the mind began to regain its focus. It seemed like it was not that important, but perhaps it should be, to rethink and be grateful for the details of daily life, especially those that seemed so routine, as they make their mind and our mental health in good condition. Some of them do not feel the value of things and people until after they lose them. So always try to enjoy life even in the difficult times.